So Nathaniel Hackett becomes the third head coach to be fired this season with only 2 games to go. Not only that, but 2 more have also been given the pink slip. Who are these individuals? They got rid of special teams coordinator Dwayne Stukes and offensive line coach Butch Berry. So they announced there were interims for the remainder of the season. Final 2 games are going to feature Mike Mallory on special teams, Ben Steele on the offensive line, and Jerry Roseberg as the interim. Last time I can remember a head coach being fired with 2 games left in the season was Jaguars head coach Gus Bradley, who was fired and replaced by Doug Marrone for 2 games before Marrone himself became permanent replacement. They explain here Denver ranked last in kickoff returns. That explains why he was fired. I heard also mentioning Brandon McManus ranks 31st in field goal percentage and Corliss Waitman ranking 22nd in yards per punt average. A league high 49 times sacked on Russell Wilson. We'll get more on that later. Which would explain Barry firing. They're saying it's possible that have the previous offensive line coach Mike Munchak could possibly be convinced to return or after deciding to go on break, but we'll see what happens there. So, what went wrong? Well, first, some background on Nathaniel Hackett himself. So, he was born in 1979 in California. Went to college at UC Davis. His team went 4-11 as head coach. But before that, he was active as an offensive coordinator, or starting out in Buffalo from 2013 to 2014, and with not so great win loss percentages. Is 24% win loss, 13% win loss. Really not good. Then came in 2016 when he got brought back to be the offensive coordinator for the Jaguars under Gus Bradley, as mentioned earlier. Or he did have a 29% win loss percentage, but again, that was for a sucky Jags team. His time on the 17 roster was the best he's had with the team, and he was gone after 2018. Went to Green Bay under Matt LaFleur, did pretty well. That's why he was an attractive hire, and the main reason why he was brought in was so that he could potentially lure Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers ended up staying put, and he could never have been the same. So, what else is important to what happened? Well, we need to take a look at Russell Wilson himself. Oh, for one. He is in his 11th season, and it's coming to an end soon. And we'll get to those games in a little bit. So, how did things go for him? Well, in his first 4 years in the league, he got to make Pro Bowl. 2012, his rookie year. Seahawks went 11-5. 2013, team, his team went 13-3, made it all the way to the Super Bowl and won it. 2014, his team went 12-4 and made the Super Bowl, where his team proceeded to lose. 2015, they went 10-6, got bested by the Panthers in the divisional round. 2016, his team went 10-5-1. First time he's ever missed the Pro Bowl. Well, bested by the Falcons in the divisional round. 2017, 9-7, missed the playoffs, got named to a Pro Bowl. And another straight Pro Bowl in 2018, a bounce back year at 10-6, lost to the Cowboys in wild card round. 2019 went 11-5, got eliminated in the divisional round by an old foe. 2020, 12-4, got bested by the Rams in wild card round. 2021 was plagued with injuries, 6-8, missed the playoffs officially with a 7-10 record. He got traded after that season into the Denver Broncos. Because then the Seahawks got the better end of the deal, well, in hindsight, because he has not done well at all. His team 4-11, record as a starter 3-10 at this point. Because he only played 13 games. This is where we need to start getting into some other stuff. Let's take a look at how the Broncos themselves have lost here. Here, week one, they lost to to Russell Wilson's former team, the Seahawks, 16-17. After a two-game winning streak, they lost to the Raiders, 23-32. Week five, they lost to the Colts, 9-12. Week six, they lost to the Chargers, 16-19. And Russell Wilson apparently didn't even play week seven. Which brings me to this stat line right here. They lost to the Jets. And they also had a bye week too. And things just keep looking worse for them as the season went on. After the bye week, they lost to the Titans 10-17. Lost to the Raiders again 16-22. They lost to the Panthers, who were led by Sam Darnold 10-23. Lost to the Ravens 9-10. Yes, the offense did pick it up against Kansas City, but they were going to lose anyways, losing 28-34. Russell Wilson did not play Week 15 in their win against the Cardinals, but they did go on to lose to the Rams on Christmas Day in what was supposed to have been a tank bowl that was no contest whatsoever. 14-51. And this is a Rams team led by Baker Mayfield as well. So it's pretty obvious. This year's stat line has been a massive regressment. 253 completions, which is nothing new. He's thrown for 3,109 yards, 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He is currently on pace to break a season high on that. He may not even, in in fact, I think he didn't make the Pro Bowl, so that streak ended. So let's take a look at some of these other stats here. Recent injury reports show Kendall Hinton at wide receiver. Last update, he was out with a hamstring. Calvin Anderson, and he was questionable with an ankle. Randy Gregory was questionable with a knee. Latavius Murray was questionable with a foot. Dalton Risner was questionable with a shoulder. Cortland Sutton was questionable with a hamstring. Kwan Williams was questionable with a wrist. Jacob Baldamover has a wrist. And Kareem Jackson has an NIR. Don't ask me what NIR is you can look it up on your own. For a talented team as this is easily a bad season for them. This is what you want me to say is good? 4-11, you want me to think it's good? And their season is officially done. They're not even making the playoffs. And they got nothing to play for. Or so it's better off just resting their starters their last 2 games since all that there really is left. They gotta play Kansas City again. And they gotta play against the Chargers again. Both teams that they lost to. They're actually on pace to get swept by both teams, giving them an 0-6 record in division. There is a lot of things wrong with this team. I only see this team doing as good as 5-10, but that's about it. And the reason why I say hey, they could possibly get swept is because the Chargers are officially in the playoffs. After beating the Colts. So much is wrong here. Things were so bad that Brett Ripien even came in garbage time. Rushing in receiving stats. I don't even know where to begin with these. Kick and punt returns, yeah, not great. Defense tries to be something. And here's also Wilson here on the fumbles and sacks. Not that great with things either. You can even see the scores right here. It's like, what the heck? This is probably one of the worst teams I've seen this year that had so much talent that keeps getting pissed away. Seriously, if we just take a look at the NFL standings alone, just the NFL standings alone, they are worse than the Las Vegas Raiders with Josh McDaniels. They just gotta hope that the Texans win enough games and the Bears to win enough games to where they get first overall pick. But that's not all. I call this the worst because they are still behind the Indianapolis Colts, who are 4-10-1. Yeah, that's right. They beat the Jaguars. Now they're in the lead in the AFC South. Chargers. There's 9-6. They're in the playoffs. All they're playing for right now is seeding because the Chiefs already won the division again. Ravens, they're in the playoffs. In a battle with Cincinnati on who wins the division. And some of these other teams they played against. The Panthers. There's going into that game. They were dealing with interim head coach too. Here they are at 6-9. Alright, they just need to win out in order to win the division, so that way they can have tiebreaker over both the Buccaneers and the Saints. And the Panthers play the Buccaneers here's for week 17, followed by the Saints to close out the year. Rams improved to 5-10. The Cardinals 4-11, and not much surprise there. Seahawks Hawks are 7-8 and are still looking for a playoff spot. So much stuff has happened around the league around them, and these Broncos just can't seem to get anything right. They've just been in free fall, and it's not always a good look for a team when they move on from their head coach after only 1 year. Here, I've said it before, or albeit not in a recording, but I'm sure you've heard it from someone else. This is one of the most out of whack seasons. What ended up being a boom or bust team ended up being boom or bust. The last time a head coach was fired this late into the season, like I said before, I remembered it to be Gus Bradley. Who was the last head coach to be fired before the end of their first year? Urban Meyer from the same team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Last time anyone was fired after an entire full season, and in their first year, you would have to look back to the Cleveland Browns in 2019 for that honor. It's possible that the Saints, depending on whether or not Sean Payton does come back to the Saints, may be done with Dennis Allen on Black Monday. Hey, Arthur Smith is on a chopping block. Eberflus, maybe. But this is supposed to be about the Denver Broncos. Fact that we're having to bring up other head coaches here, compare him to Nathaniel Hackett, goes to show that even though he's not as bad as Urban Meyer, he is still up there for one of the worst first-year head coaches ever. And that much is disappointing and frustrating. Broncos fans are already tuning out, and so should this team. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And I was surprised I to see this occur this late into the year. This should have happened earlier. If they were going to keep him around, they should have kept him around till Black Monday so that he could receive his paycheck in full. But who cares? He's gone. More people are going to be gone on soon. I just need to see who I need to make a video on next. I'll see you all in the next vid.